Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, it's never enough? Like you're always reaching for something just out of your grasp. You get the job, you reach the goal, you check the box. And for a brief second, there's relief. But then it fades, and the silence that follows, it's louder than ever. You start wondering why, after all this time, after everything you've done, you still feel that quiet ache, that pull inside your chest that whispers, there has to be more than this. Maybe you've built a life that looks perfect on the outside, but inside you're tired. Tired of pretending you're fine, tired of chasing something you can't name. You keep running because slowing down feels dangerous. Stillness feels wrong. You tell yourself it's about ambition, about growth, about becoming the best version of yourself. But deep down you know it's not. You're chasing because you don't know how to stop. Because you've forgotten what it means to simply exist without needing to be more. And the truth is, you're not alone. Most of us were never taught how to be. We were taught how to win, how to climb, how to earn love and respect by doing more. We were told happiness was a finish line, a prize waiting at the end of some invisible race. But no one told us that the race never ends, that even when you think you've arrived, another lap begins. And so you keep running, faster, harder, until the blur of movement starts to feel like your identity. You scroll through your days, your thoughts scattered across endless screens, comparing your life to the highlight reels of others. You keep waiting for that one achievement, that one moment when everything will finally make sense. But it never comes, does it? Because the problem isn't that you haven't done enough. It's that you've been running in the wrong direction. You've been searching for peace in the noise, searching for meaning in the chase itself. There's a quiet truth that lives somewhere beneath all of that noise, a truth most people never stop long enough to hear. It's the voice that speaks when the world goes silent, the one that doesn't ask you to become anything, or to prove anything, or to fix yourself. It just says you're already here, but you've learned to drown it out with plans and goals and constant motion. Because doing nothing feels like failure. We've been programmed to believe that rest is laziness, that contentment is mediocrity. So we fill our calendars, our heads, our hearts with endless noise, terrified of what might surface in the silence. But what if the thing you've been chasing all along isn't out there at all? What if it's been hiding in plain sight, in the one place you've refused to look, the present moment, the one thing you can't buy, can't earn, can't hold on to, because it's always moving, always here, always gone. We spend our lives chasing a future that doesn't exist, haunted by a past that no longer matters, while the only real thing, the now, slips quietly through our fingers. And maybe that's the cruelest part. We keep saying we want peace, but when it's offered, we turn away. Because peace requires surrender. It demands that you stop fighting with yourself, that you stop trying to control every outcome, to force every answer, to fix every piece of you that was never broken in the first place. It asks you to trust something you can't see, something you can only feel when you let go. If you've ever felt lost, you're not broken. You're just tired of pretending the chase makes you whole. And maybe that exhaustion isn't a curse, it's an invitation. A sign that the part of you that's been running is ready to stop, ready to breathe, ready to finally see. Because beneath all the noise, all the striving, all the stories you tell yourself about who you're supposed to be, there's something deeper, something still, something real. You've spent your whole life looking for the next step, the next breakthrough, the next version of yourself that will finally feel enough. But maybe the answer isn't ahead of you at all. Maybe it's been waiting for you to pause, to stop chasing, to turn around and notice that life has been whispering to you all along you're not behind. You're not missing anything. You're already home. You've spent so long running that standing still feels impossible. But what if stopping isn't the end? What if it's the beginning? Every voice in your head screams that slowing down means failure. But what if that voice is lying? What if the real failure is never allowing yourself to be here, to feel, to exist, without needing a reason? You've been told to fight for everything: success, respect, happiness. But no one ever told you that fighting is what keeps it all out of reach. Because what you fight, you feed. And the harder you chase peace, the further it runs. Think about how much of your life has been spent preparing for a future version of yourself that never arrives. You said, "I'll be happy when," but when never came. Because happiness isn't a destination. It's a recognition. It's not waiting in some perfect tomorrow. It's buried underneath the noise of right now. And the more you search for it out there, the more invisible it becomes. You can't force your way to peace. You can only remember it. You don't need to fix yourself. You never did. Every scar, every mistake, every wrong turn, it all shaped you into this moment. But you've been so busy trying to rewrite your story that you've forgotten how to live it. You've been playing a role that doesn't belong to you, chasing someone else's version of enough. But what if you dropped the script? What if you stopped performing and started being? You'd realize that everything you've been trying to earn, you already are. The world doesn't slow down, and that's the trap. It keeps spinning faster, and you keep matching its speed, afraid that if you stop, you'll fall behind. But behind what? Behind who? There is no finish line. There never was. The race exists only because you keep running it. The moment you stop, it disappears. And what's left is the truth you've been avoiding, the quiet, unshakable stillness that's been calling you home since the beginning. But here's the thing, stillness isn't passive. It's power. It's not giving up, it's waking up. It's seeing through the illusion that your worth depends on what you achieve. Because once you stop measuring yourself by the world's standards, you start to see the world differently. You realize that everything you were chasing was never meant to complete you. It was meant to reveal you. Every failure, every heartbreak, every restless night was trying to point you back here. To this breath, to this moment, to yourself. You keep waiting for a sign, but maybe this is it. Maybe the pain, the exhaustion, the endless striving, it's not punishment. It's a signal. Life isn't trying to break you, it's trying to wake you. Every time you lose something, every time something ends, it's an invitation to let go of the illusion of control, to stop gripping so tightly that you strangle your own peace, because control is just fear in disguise, and freedom only begins when you release it. Look at how much energy you've given to becoming. Becoming better, becoming worthy, becoming someone others will finally see. But you were never meant to become. You were meant to be. The difference between the two is everything. Becoming says, I'm not enough yet. Being says, I always was. That's the shift. That's the truth most people never realize until it's too late. And the moment you understand it, life changes. Not because the world suddenly becomes easier, but because you stop fighting it. You can't control how life unfolds, but you can choose how awake you are while it happens. You can stop trading the present moment for imaginary futures that never come. You can stop chasing the illusion of someday and start living the reality of now. That's where freedom begins. That's where peace lives. Not in the noise, not in the chase, but in the quiet surrender to what already is. So stop running, stop searching, stop believing you need to earn your place in this world. You already belong. You always have. The moment you let that truth sink in, really sink in, everything changes. The chaos doesn't stop, but your relationship to it does. The noise doesn't fade, but you no longer need to escape it. Stand in the middle of it all, grounded, calm, alive. Because you finally understand what it took a lifetime to see you were never lost. You were just looking everywhere except within. You've been living as if life is something you have to win, as if there's a scoreboard somewhere keeping track of how far ahead or behind you are. But there isn't. No one's counting. No one's watching. The only thing that's been judging you all this time is you. Every time you thought you weren't enough, every time you told yourself you should have done more, you built a prison out of your own expectations. And the cruel part? You locked yourself inside and threw away the key. You don't need permission to walk out. You never did. The walls were never real. The truth is, the life you want isn't waiting at the end of some distant path. It's buried underneath everything you've been told to become. You keep trying to fix yourself, not realizing there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're buried. Under fear, under comparison. Under years of believing your worth was something you had to earn. But if you stop digging long enough to breathe, you'll realize what's always been there. The quiet knowing that you already have everything you've been searching for. You think you're chasing success, love, peace, but what you're really chasing is the permission to rest, to finally exhale, to finally say, I'm okay. You've been waiting for the world to tell you it's safe to stop, but the world never will, because if you stop running, it has nothing left to offer you. It needs your chase to survive. But you don't, you never did. The second you stop feeding that illusion, it crumbles. And in the silence that follows, something incredible happens. You meet yourself for the first time. Not the version built for approval, not the one polished for the world, but the real one, the one that's been waiting underneath it all. That's the moment your life starts to change. Not when you add more, when you remove what was never yours. The expectations, the shame, the noise, all the layers you thought you needed to be loved, to be seen, to be enough. You strip them away, one by one, until all that's left is truth. And that truth is pure and still and unstoppable. Because when you stop trying to become something, you finally become yourself. You've been told that freedom means having everything, but it doesn't. Freedom means needing nothing. It's the moment you stop being owned by outcomes, when your peace no longer depends on what happens next. Imagine what that would feel like, to wake up and not be at war with yourself, to breathe without the weight of proving anything, to live not as a checklist but as an experience. You'd start to see that life was never asking you to conquer it. It was asking you to feel it. But here's the truth most people avoid. Feeling means surrender. It means letting go of control, of timelines, of the stories you tell yourself about what life should look like. And that's terrifying because control feels safe. But control is just a beautiful cage. It promises security while quietly stealing your freedom. You can't hold on and fly at the same time. You have to choose. The question is, how much longer will you keep pretending that the cage is comfort? You're not here to survive your own life. You're here to live it, to taste it, to stand in awe of it. The pain, the beauty, the uncertainty, it's all part of the same sacred dance. You can't numb the darkness without dimming the light. You can't keep building walls around your heart and expect to feel alive. You say you want peace, but peace isn't found in hiding from life. It's found in walking straight into it, unarmored, unafraid, and open. This isn't about becoming fearless. It's about realizing that fear doesn't own you. It never did. The same energy that makes you afraid is the same energy that can set you free. It's the spark that says, there's more to me than this. That spark is still inside you. You might have buried it under years of doubt, but it's still burning, waiting for you to remember. So stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for clarity, for confidence, for permission. Life isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's already happening. Right now. The only thing standing between you and peace is the belief that you need something else to reach it. You don't. You've had it all along. And once you finally see that, once you feel it, everything changes. Not because life becomes easier, but because you finally do. You already know the truth. You've just been too afraid to face it. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you wake up, you can't go back to sleep. And that's the terrifying part, isn't it? The moment you realize the life you've been living was built on everything the world told you to want. You start to see how deeply the illusion runs. You start to feel how much of yourself you traded away just to fit in, just to belong, just to survive. But surviving is not the same as living. You weren't born to play small, to follow scripts written by people who never knew your name. You were born to wake up, to remember, to rise. You've been taught to keep your head down, to follow the path everyone else walks. But look where that path leads. Crowds of people who feel empty, pretending they're fine. You see it everywhere. Smiles that don't reach the eyes, dreams that died quietly years ago, hearts that settled because it was safer than trying again. That's not living, that's existing, and you can feel it, the part of you that refuses to accept that this is all there is, the part that's screaming for something real, something raw, something alive. That voice inside you, it's not weakness, it's truth. You've silenced it for years, convinced yourself it's just restlessness. But it's not restlessness. It's your soul remembering who it is. It's the part of you that knows you are meant for more than this endless cycle of chasing, comparing, performing. It's the part that wants to stop pretending, stop waiting, stop apologizing for wanting something deeper. And if you ignore it long enough, it doesn't go away, it just turns into pain. A quiet ache that follows you everywhere, whispering, this isn't it. And it's right. Every moment you spend hiding from that truth is another moment you lose. Another heartbeat gone. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It keeps moving, whether you do or not. You think you're waiting for the right time, but the truth is, time isn't waiting for you. You are running out of later. There is only now. Right now, while you're still breathing, while your heart still beats. This is it. This is your life. And the cost of continuing to live asleep is too high. You're not just losing opportunities, you're losing yourself. You don't need to know the whole path. You just need to take one step, one honest, terrifying step toward what feels real. Maybe it's walking away from what no longer fits. Maybe it's forgiving yourself for everything you couldn't fix. Maybe it's finally saying, I'm done pretending. Because the truth is, no one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you peace or clarity or courage. You have to claim it. You have to choose it. Even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Because pain is not the enemy. It's the signal. It's the doorway. It's life trying to shake you awake. And when you walk through that doorway, when you finally stop running from yourself, you'll realize that everything you feared losing was never real. The opinions, the approval, the image you worked so hard to maintain. None of it matters. Because the moment you choose truth over comfort, something shifts. You stop chasing meaning and start living it. You stop waiting for permission and start moving with purpose. You stop asking who you're supposed to be and finally start becoming who you already are. This is not about being fearless. It's about being free. Fear will always be there. It's part of being human. But freedom is what happens when you stop letting fear decide for you. When you stop letting doubt write your story. When you finally say, I choose me. That's when everything changes. That's when life opens up in ways you can't imagine. You've spent years searching for something to believe in. But what if that something has always been you? What if the miracle you've been waiting for is simply the moment you stop running and finally return to yourself? Because when you do, when you finally come home to the present, to your own breath, to the truth of who you are, you realize the search is over. You were never lost. You were just asleep. And now, it's time to wake up. You can feel it, can't you? That pull inside you, the one that whispers that there's more to life than the one you're living. You've ignored it, buried it, drowned it out with noise, but it's still there waiting. It doesn't fade, it doesn't give up. Because it's not asking you to. You've spent years trying to control life, bending it, shaping it, forcing it to make sense. But life was never meant to be controlled. It was meant to be experienced. Every time you grip harder, it slips through your fingers like water. Every time you try to hold on, you lose what was never yours to keep. The pain comes from resistance, the constant fight against what is. You think letting go means giving up, but it's the opposite. Letting go means finally trusting that life knows what it's doing. It's surrendering not out of defeat, but out of faith. Because the truth is, you were never meant to steer the entire ocean. You were only meant to learn how to float. We spend our days chasing certainty, pretending we can predict the next step, the next success, the next heartbreak. But the more you try to control the story, the more rigid you become. And life doesn't flow through rigidity, it moves through openness, through surrender, through allowing. When you stop trying to make sense of everything, you start to see that the chaos was always guiding you. Every failure, every rejection, every heartbreak, it wasn't the end. It was a redirection. Life was never punishing you. It was preparing you. Every time something fell apart, it was clearing space for something truer to take its place. You've been taught that strength means holding it all together, but real strength is the courage to fall apart. It's allowing yourself to feel deeply, to break, to weep, to rebuild. There's power in vulnerability. It's the birthplace of transformation. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. You cannot awaken while you're pretending to be fine. You have to walk through the fire. You have to face the silence that terrifies you. Because on the other side of that silence lies freedom, the kind that no one can give you and no one can take away. The moment you stop fighting what's happening, you create space for peace to enter. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you stop making it harder. You stop adding stories, judgments, and fears to what already is. You start seeing things as they are, not as you wish they were. That's when the real shift happens. That's when you stop being a victim of circumstance and become a participant in your own awakening. Every time you've tried to force something, it's come from fear, fear of losing, fear of not being enough, fear of being forgotten. But what if you stopped fighting for what isn't yours and started trusting what is? What if you believe that everything meant for you will always find you, not through force, but through alignment? You'd stop chasing and you'd start attracting. You'd stop grasping and you'd start receiving. Because the truth is, life isn't something to conquer. It's something to dance with. And the rhythm of that dance isn't in the future. It's here in this moment. The only place life ever happens. But you've spent so much time living in your head that you've forgotten how to be in your body. You've been replaying the past and rehearsing the future, but both are illusions. The only real thing is now. And when you return to this moment, you realize you already have everything you were chasing. The peace, the meaning, the connection. It's all here, in the stillness between two breaths. Stop waiting for life to give you permission to live. Stop postponing your happiness for a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. You don't need to become more to be worthy of peace. You don't need to achieve more to be deserving of rest. You just need to be. That's what Allan Watts meant when he said you are an aperture through which the universe is looking at itself. You are not separate from life. You are life unfolding, expressing, experiencing itself through you. When you understand that, everything changes. The anxiety softens. The pressure fades. The fear dissolves. Because you no longer need to hold the world together. You realize it was never your job. So breathe. Let life breathe through you. Let go of the story that you're behind, that you're broken, that you're running out of time. You are exactly where you're meant to be, learning exactly what you need to learn. The universe isn't testing you, it's teaching you. Every setback is a message. Every delay is divine timing. Every ending is a doorway. You just have to trust enough to walk through it. And when you do, you'll see it clearly, the truth that takes some people decades to learn. You don't find peace by fixing life. You find peace by flowing with it. You don't discover meaning by chasing it. You create meaning by being fully alive right here, right now. Because the secret you've been searching for isn't hidden in the next goal or the next success. It's been whispering to you all along. Stop trying so hard to live the life you think you should. And start feeling the life that's already here.